First up, we are going to have Sphere come on. And so we have Arnold, the hydration master himself. Drop a little JM in the chat for Arnold, everybody. Or drop a little water emoji. I know you do what you choose. There we go. Arnold, how you doing?
Doing well. Currently talking to you guys from Sao Paulo. So we're about midday here. Excited. I've been a big fan of Jupe for a long time. And so
Fantastic.
hopefully,
Well, to start off, can you tell the people a little bit about what Sphere does and then how you're kind of utilizing Jupyter as well?
yeah, absolutely. So I'm Arnold. I'm CEO and co-founder of Sphere. Some of you might know me as like a blue duck from Twitter.
Quick.
Uh, Sphere, in like a very TLDR phrase. Historically, we've done like B2B payments infra on Solana. So if you've ever bought droplets on Drip or Helios credits with crypto, that's Sphere. And all of those swaps, for example, every time you buy a droplet, that's going through Jupyter. And there are reasons why this is pretty game changing beyond just uh, some of these more like consumer style apps that you might interact with. Um, and this is particularly because most of what you see about us is stuff that we built a long time ago. On this slide, it says that we're creating this operating system for stablecoins. And for the last 8 months or so, that's what we put the meat of our focus into. And so, what is an operating system for stables? The TLDR is that it's a beautiful interface in the same way that Mac or Windows is a beautiful interface with you as the end user and your computer. It's just that for us, we're making it for stables. So that way, for the best prices, compliance, custody, all taken care of, a normal person can buy, sell, or send stables anywhere else. And obviously, Jupe is super important for this because stables to dollars or whatever the fiat backing it is pretty straightforward, although a lot of like legal plumbing. Jupyter allows us to get any token into fiat or vice versa. It allows us to connect stables with everything else. And so if you want to like buy meme coins at size, off ramp meme coins at size, or even use your meme coins, any token really, on products, that's what Sphere uses Jupe for. And the way that we do it is really simple. I started by mentioning that Jupe is an inspiration for us. And I think that's across a couple of vectors. But the how is important. Jupe is connecting all these different dexes, all these different on-chain apps. And that way, you as the end user, whenever you make a swap, you get guaranteed best price. An incorrect but like decent mental model for what we do is Jupe for fiat liquidity. So in the same way that Jupe is tapping into all these different sources to route users in this the best way to get a swap, I know there's a bunch of products now, but specifically the swap is really important to us when we're thinking about like general FX or sending money through banking rails. And like the takeaway is that if you want to like on or off ramp for rates that are better than central exchanges like Coinbase or issuers like Circle, we're able to do that because we're aggregating this liquidity and negotiating on your behalf. It's that like bargaining process which gets so much faster when cryptography backs value transfer. And so if you're interested in any of that, or if you want like payment gateway style products, it still exists. You can use it, links, checkout pages, subscriptions. We just announced our seed raise from last year from TCG and Jump, hiring some chat engineers if there are any listening who are interested in payments. And sort of like to conclude that like sense of Jupyter being so important to Sphere's model specifically, beyond just this notion of aggregation and how we can use Jupe to turn on swaps for that universal settlement that was brought up at the beginning. I think we're going to look back on this time in history and see that Jupe is really redefining how business models can work. In startup world, we have this like notion of like 0 to 1s. And I think one thing that Jupe really stands out in my mind for, in the same way that Bitcoin did, was to make this incredible product and not try to rent extract on the rails. This is so different from most of fintech. You make a payment through Plaid, you send a wire, you use Stripe. At each moment, they are taking a percent, and this percent isn't linear, or rather, it is linear and it shouldn't be. The real input costs of making a payment are not 3% every time you use a card. It really changes based on where you're sending that money, what conversions are involved. And this results in a ton of deadweight loss. It's incredible to see like the empirical experimentation that Jupe is doing in real time. Because, you know, there's this whole like school of Chicagoan economists that in the 50s to 80s created these amazing theories that inform the way that firms operate now. Sort of like the crucial side point is that they're all broken. We have this meme that economics doesn't really work the way that it should because we make these assumptions. But with like data propagation getting so much faster because of the internet and now value transfer because of crypto, one of my favorite takeaways from Jupiter is what they're doing with perfect competition. We now can have that axiom of perfectly competitive environments. And the conclusions that you can draw, these like theories that used to not work, but work now, it's incredible because you can now price things that matter in post-scarcity, time, attention. If like value is defined by the things that are scarce, the constants that remain scarce, no matter how wealthy or prosperous a society are time, attention, influence. Those don't go away. We can't just create more of those things. And you know, I know Meow has done some pieces on like social meme coins and things like that. I think this will become industry standard. Maybe not in the next few months, maybe not in the next few years even. But that's the part that breaks all the models that all the companies and products that you know and love are defined by. Discounted cash flows, being able to project into the future in a world that is increasingly accelerating. And for Sphere, that's been a big source of inspiration because rent extraction is going away. We can't just create slightly less bad intermediaries. And, you know, detaching those firms from the nation states that have historically defined their legal entities, that's another amazing thing that leaning into these new types of business models, like what Jupe does on their swap can do.
Love it.
And so,
love it, folks. This is
really excited.
Very exciting stuff. Fairer rails for a fairer world. As you can